themselves to live with Commander Layden and the Allies. Thinking of her wild 8-year-old sister brought a temporary smile to Zoe's muddied face. She couldn't think of Tess and not imagine her tromping through the forest trying to catch squirrels and sneak up on rabbits. It was her second favorite thing to do, next to following Zoe around the Allied camp. The little tick wouldn't take her absence well. Zoe had left a note and arranged for her care, but that didn't mean the kid wouldn't be furious. Gabe pressed his cold hands to Zoe's face and forced her to look at him.
Come back with me, Zoe. Let Commander Layden send someone else. Someone with less to lose.
We're not doing this again. Zoe pulled away. She had begged for this mission, and she would see it through, no matter what the cost. The Allies desperately needed information that only she could provide, if they hoped to defeat the most powerful military force in the region. Gabe's hands curled into fists. His voice rose to carry over the wind that whipped his unruly hair.
Entering Ram's Gate is suicide. We don't even know if you can get the information Layden's after.
The truth was far worse than Gabe could possibly know. He hadn't heard what life would be like inside the gate. They would eventually discover her, and once they did, they'd kill her. Plain and simple. There were worse things a person could endure. She'd do anything for the cause. Goodbye, Gabe. She kissed his frozen, whiskered cheek. His hand clamped down on Zoe's wrist, and he yanked her into a fierce embrace.
I'll be close, waiting to help you escape the minute you send word.
He smoothed down her wild, dark hair.
I'll find a way to keep you safe, Zoe. I swear it.
Zoe forced a hollow smile for Gabe's sake. Look after Tess. Tell her I'm doing this for her. Tell her I'm doing it for our parents. She left Gabe standing frozen in the low light of morning. After a hard climb, Zoe reached the towering wall of Ram's Gate. The wall was comprised of redwood logs at least 4 feet in diameter and 50 feet tall, bound together with heavy rope and shaved to a point at the top. Black tar and broken glass glimmered along the high rim of the wall to discourage clans foolish enough to attack, and souls brave enough to dare escape. Zoe looked right and left, and saw no end to the wall through the thick maze of aspen and evergreens. From her training with Commander Layden, she knew the giant wall ran for miles in each direction, until it reached the cliffs that dropped off to the freezing ocean below. Inside the wall were hundreds of acres of farmlands, mountainous forests, and enough homes to house thousands of ram and the slaves they called Nameless. Calmer than a sane person should be, Zoe dropped to her knees in the shadow of the ominous wall. Knowing these might be the last free moments of her life, she allowed herself to think about things that were normally buried deep within her. The memory of her mother's soft skin, the safety of her father's smile, Tess' dimples and her eagerness to please despite her stubborn ways. The moment was as sweet as it was brief, but it was hers. Deep-voiced drums boomed, and the enormous gate rose inch by inch. Men shouted orders and whips cracked. Through the gap of the slow-rising gate, she saw at least 40 men in tattered animal hides with harnesses on their backs. They slipped through mud while struggling to turn a giant wheel, connected to a thick chain to raise the gate. The Nameless. The ram had kept slaves for hundreds of years. Some were captured, others came willingly, while most were born into the lowly title. Instinct told her to run, but fear and determination kept her frozen in place. She locked the people she loved back into the cage that was her heart and prepared to face her enemy. Zoe pressed her nose into the icy mud in a show of submission. The drums ceased, and the silence echoed in her chest like a painful heartbeat. The metal of short swords clinked against armor as men approached. She peeked up to sight of a bald leader walking ahead of a wall of 6 soldiers. His cold eyes seemed too big for his head, protuberant like